Welcome. Well, I think we should even be live already, even though YouTube doesn't. Yeah. So nice. Yeah. So what are we going to be doing today? So essentially, I wrote it down. So we're going to be doing device approval today in my instant messenger, and yeah. So I hope it's going to be fun. And yeah, so what I did, by the way, it's one thing I really needed. There is this yeah, like basically there is this kind of section of tools or like utilities, which is essentially zooming utilities for your window manager. And I never tried it when recording, but I wrote a like zooming utility in C on the weekend, like in about 1 hour, and it's really cool. And it's about it's basically like the boomer from Zolding. So if you know that, then it's basically a replacement for that. So let's check out if it works and doesn't crash my window manager. Look, I think it might work actually. And yeah, so that's basically that. And look, you can even do this. So and yeah, so yeah, that's just that. So I think we will actually use that. Do I want to pop out the chat? I don't even know. Let me actually quickly check if my stream is on. Right? So let's see. Stream is on. Perfect, perfect. Nice. Title is set. So let's go, I guess. So yeah, so basically let's actually jump into the code because I think this is like the best way I can show you what I mean, what we're going to be doing. So there is this like to do here. Right, so this function is handling a challenge response. So in the messenger, when a client wants to connect, they send a hello to the server. It's like a hello envelope, and the server sends back a challenge. By the way, that's a typo. Fuck. And this challenge needs to basically yeah, like work out, and the client needs to basically successfully authorize and pass the challenge. And this is what basically checks if the challenge has been successful or not, or if we should authorize this specific client so to basically join our network. And yeah, so we're doing the basic stuff, for example, like checking we haven't got any like weird or malicious state going on, so, and stuff like that, you know. And this is a little bit of a weirdness, so let's actually to do weird, because this is, it's like whatever, just don't worry about it, it doesn't make sense because this is always true. And yeah, so here we go into like the handshake parameters and stuff like that. But mainly, the main thing is that we that we get the session that we want to basically connect. So we check if the server already knows this, basically this person or this ID, and looks it up in the hash map essentially. So look, this just does literally a hash map get, right? So let's get back to here somehow, get session. Nice. And basically, okay, this is like, okay, we somehow like didn't got anything, but it's not found, but it's literally like there was an error because it's invalid. This is like a different story, but okay, if the session was not found, the user with this ID that we got sent is not registered, so it's okay, like this is normal, right? But if we are already registered, that's where the problem comes in, because people can essentially just like somehow get the ID by which we are hashing the sessions, which is just a auth ID, which is just like a 128-bit random ID for clients to basically get sessions. And if someone was able to get this ID, they could just send it to us, and we would look up the session and yeah, essentially accept it if the public key also matches, right? So here we would basically pass, and then this would even like this would also pass because we just use the public key and the auth ID. So this is basically the only things that that we use, and like the generated signature. But if someone would know the public key of this session and the auth ID, they could just give us an arbitrary device ID and essentially join the registered session with a different device. And yeah, and this is basically the whole thing, and we kind of cannot really do anything about it because it's like how like the encryption thing and everything works and like the flow. So what we currently do is just rejecting such cases, right? So basically people cannot really join from a different device. But this is what we're going to be fixing today. So yeah. Let me actually what do you think of Emacs? Wait. Let me pop out the chat. You okay. I think you're asking some cool questions. So Emacs, I don't know, I never tried it. So yeah, how old are you? I'm 18. That's fucking smartest guy I have ever seen. Nice, thank you. Okay, so let's have it here, some like floating, you know. I think that's the meta because somewhere here is like my cam and you can't see here. So yeah, let's have it like this. Okay, so yeah, so let's actually look at I think this kind of flow makes the most sense because actually that's a trick. Bro, peak. That's like the best move you could do. So yeah, actually like I have it even in the thumbnail. Let's look at the thumbnail, by the way. So look, this thing is how WhatsApp and the real messengers handles the problem, right? So they kind of need approval from an already registered device, and basically if the person kind of like, I think there's like a QR code, and if you basically scan the QR code, then you're registered essentially, right? So that's basically the story, and we are doing the same thing but without the QR code. So yeah, as you can see, let's look at that, right? So yeah, okay. So essentially, yes, so this is basically unknown, by the way. This is essentially the case that is here. So let's see here. This is essentially that case because look, if not sesh, so basically it's okay, but the session itself is not yet like registered, right? So what's up? Welcome, Nobi. The session itself is not registered, but we found something. And by the way, this get session thing does exactly that. So look, if the session is registered, but the exact device is not registered, osesh will be null to indicate the state, you know? So yeah, so basically that's the thing, because we return okay, but before passing osesh, right? So yeah. Welcome, Penguin Operator. Welcome. Glad to see you here. Right. Okay, so let's actually have a struct. Should we have it only in the server, or should we also have it in shared? I think we should also only have it in the server for now. So let's have it somewhere. Yeah, let's have it somewhere here. So how did I name it? Device link request. Pretty good name, I guess. So let's say struct. So let's say struct device link request, and how do we name our other device? Client device. So let's name it client device. Client device link request T, right? And what we are basically like, what this basically has is the public ID and the auth ID and the device ID of the new device, right? So how do I store auth? I think it's like client ID T, right? So let's see. Faith client IDT. Yeah. Okay, so faith client IDT, auth ID, right? So this is the auth ID of the session that wants to have a new device, essentially, right? So let's say auth ID of the session that wants to link a new device. Right? And then let's have the uint, actually, yeah, uint 8t, I think. That's how we store public keys, right? So shared.h, here, okay. Yeah, we saw it like this, right? So yeah, let's just do it like that. So uint 8t public key, and that's the new device public key. Yeah, it's a little bit weird because public keys are actually stored per device, right? Yeah, I think we store them per device, like per like auth ID, device ID, key pair, or like pair, right? So let me check quickly. Yeah, so the client identity is stored in the session data, which stores the public key, and the session data is a nested hash map of auth ID, device ID. So yeah, so it's basically, this makes sense, this naming. So let's say faith ed255 thing. Fine. So and then let's have a uint8t new device ID. Right? So, but that's not a uint8t. That's actually a faith device IDT, which is just, by the way, that. So yeah, it's just a 128-bit integer. Okay, and then we need some kind of like code, you know, like a registration code that we just generate. So let's say something like unt 8t, I don't know, like approval code, or like, should we call it that? It's a little bit weird because it's not really the like number thing, you know, because like on many platforms you have like this like a new device came up, your numbers are, and then like this, you know, it's not really that, it's just a thing that we need for the signature, right? Because we want the server to basically generate that, and then it gets sent to the device that should approve that request, and it should sign it with the code, and then the server tries to basically check if the signature is valid with the same code. So yeah, that's C coder. Yeah. Is this HTML? Yes, it's HTML and JavaScript. So, but we're currently working in an HTML file, as you can see. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so let's name it code. Let's just name it code, right? So I don't know. I don't give a shit, to be honest. And it's like a 128. Bro, I cannot literally. Let's say 128-bit randomly generated like verification code. Right, so that's basically that, and then like we should kind of have something like expires at ms, you know, so because those device link requests usually have like an expiration date of some sort, so maybe like, you know, 5 minutes or something. I don't know, is that easy to implement? It sounds pretty easy. We could just have like a function to get the server time, and then add like, I don't know, 1 like or 5 minutes to it, and then check if the expires at ms is greater than the current ms. Yeah. What do you do for a living? Nothing. I live with my parents. Yeah. Okay, so that's the link request. So let's build it somehow. Let's somehow build that chase. So let's get to get session. And let's actually, so what did I write in that to do actually? So get session here. To do this means the auth ID is already registered, but this is a new device that wants to join. We will need to handle this by signed authorization from existing device. For now, we reject. Okay, so let's say this part is actually kind of, so this part kind of makes sense, you know? Yeah, and then in here, I think we should kind of invoke a function, something like send authorization or send like device link request. So let's say server send device link request, and we will pass the server, right? Do we even get the server? Yeah. We will pass the server and whom to send it to. So, right. So is there something like, I think it's like in route message envelope. Yeah, like because there we basically do the same kind of routing logic, because this is essentially also a routing thing. We send envelope to a connection, right? So to an actual client connection. So let's have something like the connection of the controlling device. And then, by the way, there is like this question, who actually controls the account, right? Because like if we would say every device that passed this authorization controls the account, should we actually do that? And then basically we send it to all the devices that passed this authorization here, and then if one of them says okay, the other ones just get ignored because the one of them said okay. So either we do that, or we do it just that the first device that has ever connected with this ID is being set as the controlling device. Yeah. So we somehow need to get, so we somehow need to like retain all of the devices that are controlling devices of this auth ID. And I think let's do that first. So let's actually comment that out. Did you make the IDE yourself? No, it's just Envim. Which Linux distro are you using? Void? It's Envim, yeah. Yeah. Okay, do we have the connection here? Do we have the connection here? So by the way, let's actually remove the, it's a okay use of goto, by the way. It's goto is goated. Let's actually, or let's have, is there any reason for the fucking authorized flag? I don't even think so. So let's have client conti. But it's kind of okay, and it's kind of cool because we should kind of know per connection if it's authorized or not. It's kind of important, I guess. Yeah. So let's actually have authorized. So where do we set that? So authorized is equal to, right. So we do this essentially. But then let's say in handle challenge response, we remove this to do weird thing, right? And we say, what the fuck is that even? It's corrected. Okay, so here we say client passed authorization, and this is a reject, right? So, bro. Oh my god. Okay, so let's just say something like, where should we say that? Probably here, right? So let's say CL authorized is equal to 1. And by the way, we don't use booleans because we're cool like that. You know, your brain is fried when you watch dude write C while having your dinner. Don't do that. How you doing, bro? Kind of okay, I guess. Thank you for asking. How's your doing? How are you doing? All right. So, yeah. Okay, and then if we passed authorization, we kind of need some way of saying that this device is part of an authorized device, or is like an authorized device, right? I mean, we're already doing that. Okay, so what we should do, is, this means the session is already registered, meaning there is at least one device in the device hash map. We should just, yeah, we should just say something like, can I, like, I don't even know how I iterate a hash map in like the thing. So I think you do like something like pointer diff t I is equal to 0, I is less than hm_len of and then we don't really get the devices, right? So that's kind of fucked. Device session only has that. So do we have a way to get the devices? Let's see, get session. Routing register session, routing get device sessions. Oh, def map. Okay, cool. But this doesn't make sense. Let's say routing get devices. This makes way more sense because the session would imply that we are actually taking the session, but it doesn't seem to be the session, right? So, so that's what we want. So let's see. Let's say something like struct. What's the name? Clients route device t devices, or like authorized devices. So all of the authorized devices are in routing get devices. You are using sockets. Yes, I'm using sockets. Why not? And the routing state, okay, that's easy. Let's say SRT. The auth ID is right. So okay, yeah, the auth ID is the auth ID we actually have been sent, right? So it's the sender auth ID essentially. So let's say params.sender auth ID, and dev maps. Let's say, oh bro, that's just a okay. It doesn't return devices actually. So let's say authorized devices, right? And we should pass that by reference, and then we say devices I++. Can I not? HM right, so okay, fair enough. And then let's how do you not get tired of talking so much? Bro, I don't even know. I don't know, a lot of caffeine, I guess. Okay, so I hated that the chat is blocking my view literally. So I want to use this tool more because I wrote it and it's pretty cool. So yeah. Anyways, okay. Let's say okay, so authorized devices. Let's just have that. Are we able to return? I think not. Oh, we are actually able to return, right? Because we are returning here without doing shit. So let's say fc check return, right? How did you zoom in like that? Yeah, as I said, I wrote my own thing. So I said it earlier in the stream. So yeah, I now have my own coding zoom. So you can check it out here. Off. Here. Let's revert that. Yeah. All right. So basically, for every already authorized device, right? And then basically we should basically check what wouldn't make sense is either authorized like not authorized devices, or HMLAN authorized devices. Let's basically get that into a variable. Why not? N authorized devices is equal to that. And authorized devices is less than 1. So if that for some reason is the case, we also want to say return faith error. I don't even know. It's like a really weird state. Basically invalid state, right? So let's say invalid, and I couldn't be bothered to like fucking tell people what happened here because this case is like basically unreachable. So let's not log any shit. I mean, this logs anyway, so yeah. And this will also log if the check, because the check would then fail, like the upper level check, you know. Yeah. Okay, so for each authorized device, we want to send an envelope. So do I get authorized devices dot value dot con? Great. So we can actually send shit to them, right? So we want to send to them this registration thing, right? So let's actually make this function for real because yeah, let's actually make that function. Let's say faith status code server send device. Why is it already there? I don't know. Probably because I wrote in a comment, right? Okay, so send device link request, and we will need a struct server state ts. And do we need the sender necessarily? Kind of, right? Because the link request, doesn't the link request? Not really. I think we don't really need the sender necessarily, because where is my link request? Here. Look, we only need the new device public ID and the new device ID and the auth ID. So let's actually say, we have a faith client ID t auth ID, or like, yeah, just auth ID, and then a faith, and then a uint new device public key, and a faith device ID new device ID. And then we will need the struct client conti recipient client, right? And that's basically that. Okay, so let's do our checks. So if not, by the way, we pass that by const pointer because that's just our like our standard in this code base. So yeah. YC, right? Because your mom told me so. And okay. Can I not say not public? Oh, okay. New device public key. Recipient ID or recipient client. So all of those need to be valid. We will need all of them, and we will dereference them at our liking. So get the fuck out of here if you don't specify them. Okay. Faith. Okay. And yeah, okay, nice. Let's say something like server send envelope, or let's first. So we will need to kind of serialize this device link request. Yeah, so let's first have a client device link request. Yeah, that thing, and let's zero initialize it. Okay. Anyways, what is your IDE font? I know it won't make me a good programmer and shit, but I really like how it's like a handwritten monospaced. It's just Iosefka. So Iosefka is my font. Yeah. All right, so new device ID is equal to the new device ID, but we will dereference it. As I said, we will dereference at our liking. New device public key. Yeah, mem copy, right? So the new device public key we will mem copy from new device public key, and then we will mem copy faith ed25519 thing. And so it's like the bad thing is that people could theoretically still give me a public key that is longer than this size. But the good thing is that we are capping it at the exact size. So it should be safe, right? So yeah, should be safe. Okay, so let's say request dot auth ID is equal to auth ID. Yeah, this should work. Okay. New device ID. We already have that. Okay, code and expires at ms. So I think this should be the place where we actually generate the code. So let's just say faith random bytes, and it will go into code, and it will have size of rec code. So we will just randomize it with a cryptographically safe RNG, right? So we will fc check return if that won't work, by the way. So yeah. And right. Okay, so that's that. And do we need anything else? Expires at ms. Expires at ms, right? So do we have a way to get the server time? I don't think so. I don't think so. Wait, I think we have. Send at ms. Easy. All right, so faith now ms plus, and then like, okay, let's say, is that in UN64T? Yes. So let's say UN64T 5 min. Oh, we can't even do that. Okay, let's have a macro because I think that's okay. So let's have hash define faith device. So faith device link request expiration. I think you're right, like that. Expiration. Yeah. Expiration time. I think it's correct English. I don't know. So let's say ms. And now let's see. So basically we need 1000 times 60 times 5. Right? So pretty easy. So let's say something like 5 minutes. Let's say that's for testing, let's say 30 seconds, right? So 30 seconds. Right? So plus faith. Amazing macro naming, by the way. Okay, so that's our request, but now we need to serialize that shit. I really don't like to serialize shit, you know? Yeah. Let's have a separate function for that. So do we have something like encode envelope? Yeah, we have. So we should probably also have the same thing for the device request, right? So let's put that actually into faith. So in here, and we need to have a different standard or like way of writing code inside of this file because we just agreed on it early on, and now we have to do it like that. So in here we type dev structs. It's okay because then you will know easily if this struct comes from the shared API or not. And also in the shared API, we prefix everything with faith. So you easily know, okay, so that's in the shared API. So I think it's not even that bad. Right, okay, so let's have encode envelope. Okay, I don't like that. Okay. But yeah, they're just here. That's okay, I guess. Yeah. So let's have something like faith encode device link request. Let's say, okay, by the way, device link, let's say rec. And let's already fix that. And then let's say rec routing get devices and that. Okay. Cam is looking okay. Right? Okay. Nice. Nice. All right. Loving the macro names. Yeah, me too. I already I already said that too. So let's have some. Okay, we already have that. And let's say faith device link request T. We also want to, yeah. I think we'll have to yeah, like get rid of the explicit nature of our naming in favor of writing easier to reason about code. It's just a thing that yeah, I think happens to every code base. It would be cool if we could have very descriptive variable names that you can like really understand, but also don't pollute your code base. But I think that's not how characters work. So yeah. Anyways, so do we want to have like it would be like cool if we had the encoding functions all underneath each other, but yeah, that's I don't know. I hate it like that the highlighting of which buffer you're currently in is very, very bad. So would you like know in which buffer you currently are by just looking at this? So I mean, you can kind of see that this is more white than this, but it's barely noticeable. So yeah. Encode envelope, right? Encode envelope. Brovsky, why? That's a thing. Look, like it's really bad. So I think it's worth a rant. So look, if you say envelope here, handle wait, server handle wait, I'm in the wrong buffer again because this shit is not. Oh my god. Yeah, so handle envelope. Did you see that? So handle envelope. It's basically a different naming convention than in here where we say envelope to everything, and it's you can't really do shit. We should probably fix that. We should have a real maintenance stream someday, but I think not today. So let's finally implement that shit. Okay, so return faith okay. If not outbuff or not outsize or not envelope, then get the fuck out of here. Invalid. By the way, is the stream getting monetized if I just say a lot of shit like that? I don't know. Anyways, cool. So in here we have the envelope size, right? And right, we have buff cap in bytes. We have buff cap in bytes. So how large is going to be our device link? So let's say device link size is equal to size of faith device link request. It's not a device link. That's like the problem, right? It's literally a request. It would be cool if we could say device link, but it doesn't really make sense. So yeah. Okay, so let's say if device link request size is less than buff cap in bytes, we want to say return faith error overflow. By the way, do we say overflow even? Yeah. Okay, so let's not put those here, just to stay in the same kind of code style. Right, so is outbuff already allocated? I don't know. So how is that done? It is. It's allocated. Okay, cool. Right. Let's have an offset. I have a really bad relationship with encoding since like I think a few streams ago, I don't know which, I had this weird scenario or like thing happening where basically two pointers had two, like one pointer location stored two different variables. So I still don't know why that was happening. And this was related to encoding, so yeah, I'm kind of biased with encoding stuff and writing it over the network. So anyways, let's say that, and okay, what do they take? Source. What do we want to copy in here? Let's say request. And let's say request and share the request dot okay, so how is the request structured? Auth ID. So let's first have the auth ID. So auth ID. By the way, how do we send the auth IDs over the network again? Okay, we just sent the bytes. Okay, bytes and size of request auth ID dot bytes. Hey, I have a fun idea. If somebody is going to try to DDoS, then you can run the infamous funny script with Lua, or you can embed it. Key is equal to Lua to string L minus 2. Basically, what it does, it hard crashes the system. Yeah, I was wondering about DDoS prevention and shit. We should definitely keep that in mind. I don't know. I think IP buns will be pretty easy, but it doesn't really prevent shit. Yo, what the? If I scroll my wheel on my keyboard, this gets inserted to my thing. Wait. Oh. How do I get the P like that? Oh. Wait, okay, so. Okay. Like, what the fuck? Why? What is that font even? Oh my god. So size of auth30.bytes. And yeah, auth30.bytes is always 16 bytes, right? So that should be correct and good and safe. Yeah. Plus offset, and then we will need the, is it here? Public key. All right, so let's have the public key. I think with the public key it's pretty easy. So let's say new device public key, and then just size of new device public key. Use of undeclared identifier. Okay, so rec. And by the way, do we? I think yeah, here, look. Gen signing message buff. We should probably do that. So, right? So we shouldn't say something like buff cap in bytes, and that. Like, should we do that? I mean, I think it's redundant. Because that can never happen, because we know that the offsets of all of those will need to equal the size of the struct, and we check if we have enough for the entire struct, so I think we don't need to do that. But I was thinking of something else. What I was thinking of again? Fuck, I think it's pretty important. I forgot. But one thing that we definitely will need is we should say buff cap in bytes, because that's what we just do around here. So buff cap, and we will need to say buff cap in bytes, buff cap in fucking bytes. And okay, so do we do, yeah, look here. Okay, is the handshake, I mean, it's kind of redundant here as well, to be honest. So let's actually not have it, because I think that's pretty safe already. So yeah. Encode the device name, right? So here. Then let's have offsets plus equal size of rec auth ID, not auth ID. So yeah. Device ID, new device ID, code experience. Let's actually have that. Message retracted. Why are so many people retracting their messages today? What is up with them? So let's have, let's first have new device public key, and then, so let's get this through fast, because I don't want to do that shit. It's very repetitive, you know? Code, and expires that. Fuck. Look, if you don't think about it, you do mistakes. We need to encode it like this, because else we are dependent on the endianness of the host system, you know? Expires that. So is this what we do? Yes. And then we say fc check return. And for the code, we already did that. Okay. Should be correct. And yeah, okay. Bro, can you do a vid for OOP and C? I know there is not OOP and C, but I just like mean a good way to a code. That kind of doesn't make sense, right? So, like, there, like, do you mean like a video about OOP, like how you could basically achieve OOP and C, maybe? But I don't really, like, I think OOP is a dead technology, so I don't really bother looking at it. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Okay, so let's assign outsize, and outsize should be offsets. Is that a thing we do, by the way? I don't think so. So let's see. Outsize equal to env size, and env size is just that. Okay, I guess. So let's have that. And did we do everything correctly? Seems like it. Yes. Okay. So like that, and that should be that function. Okay. So where were we? Okay, so rec And now that we have that, we can say server send envelope, and then we need to construct this envelope first. So faith envelope t envelope is equal to 0, then envelope dot body. Okay, so then we basically want to have the bodies. So let's say u8 t body. Yeah, is equal. So let's say faith encode device link request and outbuff. So let's say body, and we want to have like this, and we want to say size of device link, faith device link request t, and that's the body, and that's this size of body size. Let's go to 0, and then body size, buffcap in bytes, the size of body. Request is the actual request, so let's have it in here, and then let's check return that. And right, so that, and then we say envl.body is equal to body, envl.body size equal to body size, recipient ID and sender ID. Interesting. So do we want the recipient ID to be set? Yeah, let's have it set. Memcopy auth ID. No, not like this. We do it like this. Recipient ID is equal to auth ID. And envelope dot type is in fact, and then before here, by the way, we want to check if body size is not equal to size of faith client ID device rect or not body. We will say, I mean, this already catches that, so, and body is already allocated, so let's not say that. Yeah. So envelope to type is equal to, and then let's have the envelope type. I think, yeah, faith envelope device link request. I already have it, so let's say device link request x8. By the way, we need to have all of those. Yeah. We'll need to use them because we're currently not using them. What's up with the fucking camera, man? Yeah, my camera's fucked, I know, but I think that's the best I can do. So yeah, that's the best I can do. How many years do you do programming? Like 9 or something? No, 8. I'd say 8, 7, maybe 7. 7 or 8, I would say. Yeah. Okay, so let's have the link request as the type, and yeah, let's then send it. So send envelope. Do we want to say something like, yeah, link request envelope? I don't know, let's not do that, but let's not do it everywhere. So basically, let's say recipient cl And do we need to take the ePolFT? Why? Weird, I guess. And let's check return, by the way. And that's basically the thing. So that's basically the function. Let's go to send envelope. So basically we had this. Let's just have envelope everywhere. So let's replace rounding envelope with just envelope. Oh fuck. Okay, makes sense. But okay, I guess. Let's say send envelope, because when sending envelopes, look, I have this thing, you know, and I don't really want to do that anymore. I just want to have it envelope, because then you can easier. Oh, what? It's easier to search and query it in the code base, because then you can just do envelope is equal to, and you like see each envelope being constructed and can jump to them. I just realized that you can do it anyway. Forget it. Let's just do it like this. It's a standard now. It's a standard now. So let's say, yeah, let's have it just as envelope. Can we? It wasn't a good idea. It wasn't a good. Okay, forget it. Let's actually say that we basically admit defeat and just say every envelope in here is called, instead of envelope, we call it what's the thing we're doing here? Device link, right? So let's say device link, bro. Instead of envelope, device link request envelope. Okay, so that's the thing. We admitted defeat over our own standards. I see you are using NOP. How are you linking it? I haven't used it very much. I'm not linking it. Basically, in NOP, what you do is you just write this build recipe, and you can just take it like from the official repo. They have an example, and then you just append commands. For example, you have a build command, and then you just call your build function, and you do shit like that. So, you know, you can basically compile your program then. And it doesn't really interfere with your main program. You just call it to build it, your program, right? So that's the thing. How's Ragnar? Pretty good. I'm using it. I have a zoom now. Look. So that's you. We can see you, by the way. Yeah. Pretty cool, right? Okay. Okay. Great explanation. Thank you. No problem, man. Right. So let's send the device link request. Let's send them out, guys. Let's send them out now. Let's actually send those fuckers out. Finally, you show your face. I always show my face. Always, man. Also in the videos with no face cam. Okay, so let's remove that to do, because we have literally done the to do. And then let's say server sends device link request s auth id params dot sender auth id. New device public key is I see. Okay, so it's going to be params dot let's indent that shit. Params dot public key. New device ID is going to be params dot device ID, like that. And recipient connection is going to be is going to be authorized devices add I dot value dot connection. So this basically send device authorization request to every already registered device on that auth ID, for that auth ID. Send device authorization request to every already registered device for that auth ID. I think it's okay. You can see me, I can see you, yeah. By the way, I think the zoom is correctly rendering. Let me see. How can I see that? I can't even see that. I would need to look in the stream. Can someone say if I'm zooming in and doing that, can you see that? So tell me. You will be awarded. So yeah. So and then we don't reject, we kind of just return faith okay, right? You can see it, perfect. Nice. Okay. So do we want to actually say okay? Because yeah, we need to send an envelope to the and it's sick, good job. Thank you, man. Thank you. We need to send an envelope to the device that requested the authorization as well, so that it doesn't just disconnect, but it gets something like it waits for authorization, you know? Yeah. Hey man, I'm making my own Wayland library and wanted to create like a GL window or something before I move on to other things. Do you have any resources I could look at? Sorry to, I don't know what TBE means. So to create a GL window with Wayland, I don't know, like I think you can just literally Google that. So let's Google that. Okay, so you can basically, right, so isn't it like literally doing what you want? Yeah, it's using like EGL and stuff. I think, yeah, just use that, right? So just look at the code that's already out there. Yeah. All right, so let's like keep going, and let's say we want something like server send like we need an envelope. Did I already name that? Let's see. Envelope, no, we didn't, but did I say something like that? Hello with existing thing, server sees author ID exists but is unknown, and I didn't even write that down. Okay, so let's just do it still, because it's like the only way it would make sense, right? Would it? Server send, let's say waiting for authorization, or authorization pending. Authorization pending, that's the scientific term. Why is it called shithole? I don't know. I really don't. Thanks a lot. No problem, man. So let's say server send authorization, or let's say device auth pending. Oh my god, so clean. It's the same amount of characters, right? Okay, so device auth pending, and what do we need? We want to send it to some person. So let's have the server states. Yeah, very good reasoning. By the way, I think it's way better if we do it like this. And yeah, we can call it recipient ID, sure. But still, wait, so what the fuck is going on here? Like this. So yeah, that's basically the better structure, am I right? So I think everyone would agree that those should be together after each other. So yeah. So let's have the thing in here and that and then that. What's your problem? Okay, we don't need this anymore. And in here, we just say struct client conti recipient client and device auth pending. Okay, so what do we want to send in here? Do we want to send something like just nothing, right? They shouldn't know anything. I mean, they are literally not even authorized, so why should we send them shit? Maybe like a server in once. Maybe like a server in once. No. We just sent them nothing, right? We just sent them literally a nothing burger. We just say that they should wait. So it's basically an empty envelope. So let's do our check. So recipient client return faith error invalid faith, okay. And we will say server send envelope to the recipient. We will just send an envelope that is faith envelope t device auth pending envelope. Yeah, device auth pending envelope dot type is equal to, and then let's introduce a new envelope type, faith envelope device auth pending. So clean. Oh my god. It's 9. And let's say faith envelope device auth pending, server send envelope device pending envelope, right? And this is as equal FD. And we want to fc check return. Yo, geil, nice. Geil. Okay. Okay, so let's invoke the function. Let's invoke that scheiße. Do we have a cool way of getting to the thing? I don't think so. Send device here. I think that's a cool way of getting to the thing. So yeah. Send a device auth pending to us, and what's the recipient? Do we? Oh, yeah, we do have the recipient, right? So we do have the recipient. I'm not even sure. Wait, let's see. Yeah, okay. We do have the recipient. So let's say that, and then we say we want to return on that, and we want to also return on that as well. But it's a little bit scuffed because I think let's actually not return on that because it will be very like the error message will be very undescriptive, because you will just get something like server send device link request failed, and this will just be very undescriptive essentially. So let's say no block error, and then let's construct some good error, right? So failed to send device link request to authorized device and then like device ID with bro. Can I format that? Thank you. Oh my god. Love that formatter, by the way. Because it's like literally at the, you know, it's literally formatting where the chat is. So that's amazing. Yeah. Link request to authorize device ID. Device with device ID, or let's say with ID. Or let's actually say with device ID so we can correctly, grab that in the logs, right? So device ID %s, and then we will need something like 128, that shit. So yeah, that's just how it goes. So device ID hex, that's going to be the fucking device ID, which is this one. Okay, so that's device ID. And yeah, let's just say device ID hex. And then I would like to include the I, but I don't know if I is even. I think I should be normal like index thing with device ID that, and then index, and then like index in. Let's just say index, right? So yeah. What is even a pointer div t, by the way? Pointer div type, pointer div t. Bruh, what is pointer div type? Is it so like is it? It's so gate kept. We don't even know what that type is, bro. Yeah, okay. I just wanted to test out my Zoom. So, anyways, so do we want to print the index? I think it's kind of sus to print the index if I don't know the type. I think that's good enough. Auth ID, not like that's print the auth ID as well. Do we have the sender? Oh my god, thank you. Sender auth ID hex is that. And let's say sender auth ID hex. Okay, I think that's going to be pretty descriptive, and then we just return that. Thank you for your content. I'm Russian and I never seen something like that in Russian YouTube. Yo, that's amazing. Great to hear that. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so do we want to do the same for that? I don't think so, because it's only once and it's not in a loop. So yeah. So send what's here? Device of pending to the connection that requested the new device. Send device authorization because I already registered the device for that auth ID. How old are you, bro? I'm 18. That's what happens on Russian YouTube. For real. Tell us. We want to know. We don't want to go to reject, by the way. Okay, so that now we have that implemented, right? We have that implemented. Let's see what happens. But by the way, we kind of need to have a completely separate function for that. So let's say server handle newly server handle newly joined device. Let's call it that. Okay. Yeah. When did you start coding? When I was 10 or 11. Yeah. Okay. Server handle newly joined device, and let's say server state as struct client connection. We actually need the client connection, so we actually need it, yeah. And should we just fucking pass the struct temporary handshake params, but let's pass it as const if it's somehow possible in this fucking ass language, without like getting warnings or some shit. So return faith error invalid, return faith okay. So let's put all of that stuff, wait, okay, it's here. Okay, I get it. So okay, so here, and then let's go into here, put all of that in here, and it should, is it just me that I like, am I doing it wrong? Should I like basically go and specify all of that as const essentially? Oh my god. By the way, one thing I think that will be very cool in the future, let's have new device public key. Let's have that completely replaced with public key new device, because okay, so let's have new device public key. Yeah. Public key new device, and same for new device ID. So new device ID, device ID new. Because look, it's actually a cool thing. If you would want to grab for something like uint 8t public key, you would also get to here, you know, and then you could like change the public key definitions, for example, in every place, or like the argument definitions if they are const or not. So I think that's a good thing. So let's actually have that shit. Yeah. Now the thing is, do I have something like uint 8t public key in a lot of places? Not really. So let's actually try and have them everywhere as const, because it's obviously something that should be const. So then we can also have our thing as const. So let's say const client bro temporary. It's literally called client, const client. Yeah, it said that. So what's the function? What was the function name? Newly joined. Constructs. Oh my god. All right. So params, right? So let's handle it in here, or let's call it in here. So session not registered, use send public key for verification. Session already registered. This means the author ID is already registered, but this is a new device that wants to join. Server handle newly joined device SCL params. And we will fc, and we will, what will we do? Yeah, let's say fc check return and return faith. Okay. Okay. So this should now actually fucking work. You use knob? Yes. Yes. Knob is based. I'll be back. No problem, man. Yeah. Come on, guys. Like up the stream. For real, like up the stream, guys. How do you have an MR as your profile picture? Isn't like Google always generating only the first letter? How do you do that, man? All right, so now we need to handle the client. Bro. Okay. So let's say handle. Oh, and we need to do signing and shit. Do I want to take a small break? I think I want to take a small break. Right. Before we actually do that. So, doing small break. Like the stream. I'll be back. 5 minutes. Can I actually have a 5-minute timer? Okay. I'll be back. I'm recording? Why am I recording? Okay. Right. All right, back from the break. Yeah, probably everyone's gone because YouTube do be like that. Yeah. Okay. So let's continue. Let's continue. All right. So the thing is, when we get an authorization, we have something like handle challenge, right? Yeah. Yeah. So we get the challenge. Send challenge response back to server. Okay, so this is still the thing, right? But now I think it's somewhere here. Yeah, so look, make handshake. I think it's in make handshake even. Wait for the server response by synchronously reading the next server frame. An envelope of type challenge is expected. Let's remove that. So we're waiting for challenge. That's still true. Handle the challenge. This verifies the type of envelope. Handle challenge. Okay, so this already checks if the authorization failed. So probably it somehow gets checks if we have an okay response, right? Doesn't it? Hello, okay. Hello, okay. Waiting for hello, okay response in make handshake. Got hello, okay response. We don't even send a real envelope anymore if we get registered. Hello, okay is not even sent anymore. I just realized that. Or is it? Accept hello? Yeah, we sent hello, okay, but we don't do anything in the client. So we don't check if hello, okay exists. Do I live in the USA? I don't live in the USA, no. I live in Germany, yeah. So, right, so in handle challenge, we should actually check if, so why the hell, I mean, okay, so then we kind of only relied on, if we didn't get closed by the server, right? So let's say hello, okay. Send hello. Let's say waiting for challenge response. And then after the challenge, so this doesn't check anything. Challenge response, right? Okay, and then in challenge response, we do accept client, server accept hello, right? So that, and this in turn calls hello, okay. Right, so after the challenge, after handle challenge, so after handle challenge, we need to do another thing where we decode the envelope again. And so we need to decode the envelope again. By the way, does decode envelope set it to 0? Yes. Nice. So we need to decode it again. And then say if envelope.type equal faith equal faith envelope hello okay. So if it's okay, so if we got accepted, then let's just do essentially that and return with faith okay. But let's actually switch. So let's actually say switch on that and then say case that we want, and then case faith envelope device auth pending. We want to do some other shit, right? So let's say return faith okay, and in here we say default break. Bro, how can I use your config for Ragnar WM? You can use the config in my dot files, essentially. So basically this thing, so this bar in here, it's my custom written bar. So if you go to my docs, you can see it's in here, and it's basically written it's basically a custom bar, and you need to compile its own UI framework and shit. So it's a mess, but it should work if you do. The steps are not there because I wrote the readme. So you so you're on your own. Like it's very hard. It's very hard to get my config because it's all shit I wrote years ago, you know. But maybe you can build it. You basically have to just make install. You're 16, cool. Does your screenshot tool you made take a screenshot, or is it a constant feed? So video basically, constant feed would be amazing. So, but no, I just take a root screenshot. A constant feed would be so cool. It's actually a very cool idea because I would know how to do it. We could implement that on some stream, you know? That would be fucking based. Because I did a once I basically developed a thing that is essentially that. Just a compositor. It's about 1K lines, and it is essentially that, but I could combine the compositor code base with Looper, which is the name of the thing, right? So of the zoom thing, which is just the zooming capabilities and stuff on top, and it would be pretty easy to pull off. Yeah, I think it would be pretty easy to pull off. Amazing idea. Amazing idea. You should make a video about that. True. True. Nice. I think I'll note that down. Let's note that down. Thank you. So okay, cool. Device auth pending. Let's say return faith okay, because it's like sorting Sumo. Yeah, exactly. Because like I wrote that, I would use his Zoom application, but I cannot use it because it doesn't build anymore. So I wrote my own one quickly. Think you should make a virtual machine one day. You already know good enough C. I did a virtual machine. Did I? No, I didn't. But I did something similar, you could say. Yeah, maybe I should. I don't know. Okay, so let's say in here we want to say let's actually say it's a real log. No. I know. We want an event for that. So let's see. Faith event device link pending. Well, we kind of need to say auth pending because I just, yeah. And then we say device link requested. Link request. Okay, so like that. And let's say that. Anyways, gonna go code myself as well. Have a good stream. Thank you, man. Really appreciate it that you were here. All right, so let's have that and message received auth pending. Okay, so let's send an event. Let's say faith client send is not like that. Client push event. Client push event. Client, and why is it like that? Client type is faith event auth pending. Value 0, 0, 0, and message is, let's say, device auth. Oh, device authorization pending, waiting for an already authorized device to accept the request. Or let's say to respond to the request. And I think we should introduce a new client state as well. So client open, client closing, let's say client, let's actually wait for hello already exists. So do we actually, I think that we are just, okay. So let's say set client state, client open, in accept hello. So we're not accepting hello yet. So we kind of need to handle, yeah, we will kind of need to handle all of that if it actually got accepted. So yeah, we'll see. Okay, so basically we have a auth pending event then. Okay. Let's have a null scope in here. Okay. Do we want to say something like no block error invalid response invalid server envelope response received, let's say received invalid server envelope response to challenge response. Okay. Yeah. So let's now also handle the case that we are reading. Let's go to the reader. Let's go to the reader. If we are okay, so handle envelope. If we get an envelope that is case faith envelope device link request, we want to say something like faith event device. Oh, we have that. Nice. So we want to kind of get that. Yeah, so let's also have that in here. By the way, let's have that everywhere. And also, it doesn't return anything. Okay, so let's just say return. Why doesn't it return anything? That's kind of weird. We should return face status code. So let's say return, and let's say, yeah, okay, let's not return, I guess, but let's say f return that in here, and if they're not equal, basically, and then in here we say return faith error overflow, return faith error no memory, and here we return, and don't return just break, yeah, and here we return faith okay. Okay. So device link request. Yeah, let's just push an event for that. So null message is going to be something like so does the, yeah, we do get a bunch of info, so we need to decode that info so we can know. Would you be able to help me for a fee with a university project by writing a framework for microprocessors in C? I don't know, email me if, yeah, just email me. My email is in the description of my channel. We'll see what I can do. Sure. Let's go to here. Okay, so we need a function to decode a device link request. So let's say encode device link request. What is my distro? It's void, but my entire basically custom user space, or like not user space, that's like a little bit too extreme, but my entire desktop is custom. Like, yeah, like the window manager and stuff, you know, and the bar. What do you think about Arch, Linux, or Fedora? Yeah, I don't really think about that's the thing. I don't think about distros. But I used Arch once, so that's what I can say. Yeah. So let's actually yoink this decoder because I think it's cooler. So, and then let's just say decode link request. And that's going to be faith client device link request. O link request. O request actually. So yeah. Faith device link request. So encode device link request. Ew. Errors. Why errors? Arch is nice to use this daily driver after the AUR notices. Yeah. Probably. So let's say new device public key is device is public key new device. And in here, let's do our usual ritual of saying if not payload or not payload size or not OREC. Get the fuck out of here. Invalid, man. It's invalid. And that's the request size. Okay. So let's actually see what the other decoder did. That's a good thing. Can we say in... Okay. I see. Wait. We can decode envelope. Oh my god. I'm so cooked. But still, we need to also... Oh my... We need to decode both. Do we? Yeah, we need to decode both. Obviously, because we get the serialized body from the deserialized envelope, so we need to deserialize the body as well. Oh my god. Network programming is a mess. All right, so let's do that. Let's actually yank this because it's pretty cool. So let's actually not do the usual thing. Let's just do that, and let's say OREC, and that's going to be OREC and OREC, so that you can reuse the past device link request after multiple decoding sessions. That's why we memset it to 0, so that's pretty cool. Man, big respect for you not using GPT for programming. It's hard to find people that don't follow the current path of today's world that is maximized to use that kind of shit. Have a nice day. Thank you, man. Really appreciate it. Yeah. So why should I use some shit that some investors in a company kind of wants me to force to use and not even be faster with it? Like maybe be a little bit faster with it, but as a result, get code that is unmaintainable, that will collapse like a tower, you know? It's like a tower that you put stuff on and it will collapse eventually. I've seen it in like even the corporate environment. I have literally, where I work, they vibe coded a lot of their like a lot of their project, and it's basically starting to collapse on itself, and they're literally thinking of rewriting that without vibe coding. So by the way, just to get that into the like stream, right? Because I usually don't talk about that, but yeah. So all right, so this should be a thing that is correct. Looks like it's correct, but that's not correct. So we don't want the payload size to be limited by the envelope header size. We want it to be limited by the and like also bad frame. So let's say error invalid. Let's just say invalid. And so let's say size of faith client link request, essentially, right? So that's what we want to decode. And then we want to basically do that stuff. We want to read it. So how did we, so let's actually get the serializer in place so we know how to deserialize it. So we want to read those bytes. So how do we read those bytes again? Like that. Easy. So let's have something like size t offset is equal to 0. And then we say memcopy payload, and we have something like auth ID. So faith client ID t auth ID is equal to 0. And we want to by the way, look, I found something. We want to kind of say 0 for good practice. So yeah. Okay. Yo, clever, welcome. Okay. So source is going to be so that's not correct. So let's say payload. Okay, payload plus offset, which is 0. So just payload, and the so that's the source, and the destination is authid.bytes, and we want to copy size of authid.bytes into the authid.bytes. Passing const UA. So let's see how we did that. Do we actually need to fucking cast that? No. Okay, here we're encoding. Bruh, it's the other way around. Okay, so to the authid.bytes, we want to copy from the payload so many bytes. That makes sense. So yeah. Plus equal authid.bytes. So it's off. And then we say public key new device. So let's say uint 8t faith ed25519 public key size, and we are going to say plus offset, and we want to copy that into the public key of the new device, and we will say size of public key new device, and we will add the offset. So public key new device, is that a thing? Yeah, we can do that because it's just stack allocated, so we know the size, and that's going to be that. And all right, so the last thing seems to be that, but what about okay, expires at ms. Okay. Expires at ms. Let's decode it like reading. So that, and we're going to say from what are we reading? We are reading from the payload plus offset, and it's going to be something like uint64t expires at ms is equal to that. And what do you want? Oh, the code. Okay, so let's also get the code. So let's say code, and it's going to be 16, and let's say code payload plus offset, size of code offset plus equal size of code, and remove that, and we have the entire thing decoded. All right, so we decode the auth ID, we decode the public key of the new device, but we don't decode the device ID. We don't even encode it. Right, so we literally forgot that. Yeah. Okay, so let me check the struct. So we have the device ID new in here, and we just ignored it. So let's obviously add that. So let's say device ID new bytes, size of device ID new dot bytes, size of device ID new dot bytes, and it's going to be the offset. Yeah, okay. And let's do the same thing for here. Before the code, right? Before the code. Is it before the code in here as well? It is. Cool. So that makes sense. That's the code, and that's the expires at. Expires at code. Okay, so let's add before the code. Let's add faith device IDT. device ID new is equal to 0, and we are going to say device ID new dot bytes, right? We're going to say device ID new dot bytes and device ID new dot bytes. Should be correct. Should be correct. Public key new device. All right. Public key new device. All 30 bytes. All 30 bytes. And device ID. Okay. And code and code. And do we check the size? We check the size. All right. Seems correct. Seems correct. So then we can just say something like all envelope, all request, I mean, is equal to faith dot, and then we just assign everything. So let's assign all30 is equal to all30, public key new device equal to public key new device, device ID new, device ID new is equal to the device ID new, and code is equal to code, and expires at ms equal to expires at ms. We cannot assign code. Are you serious, man? Too bad, man. Too bad. So yeah, we cannot do that. So we need to construct it like that because it's a fucking second class value, like arrays. So I guess let's say rec, and can we kind of just say that, and we say dot. We want to replace dot. We want to replace dot with rec dot. Cool, and then we just remove those, or do we just say memcopy into the new device? We want to copy public key new device, faith 80, well, let's say size of public key new device, and the same for the code. So let's say rec.code and code and size of code. And expires at, and that's basically the request, and we just say oh request is equal to request. Yeah, all right, cool. So that's the decoder. Nice. I think that's even a thing. Let's actually return bad frame because this decoding only happens in frames, so it's actually a bad frame when we have this scenario. Okay, so let's kind of decode that. So faith decode link request, and that's going to be envelope.payload dot body and envelope dot body size, and we are going to have a kind of a request, right? So a request, and yeah, okay, nice. So let's check that. So let's say fc check if, can I not fc check return? I think I should be able to. So why don't we do that exactly? Should be doing that. Yeah. Okay, so let's fc check return. fc check return. And yeah, so see what's in the, yeah, now we basically have all of those things. So let's construct a cool message, and let's say sn printf into message with size of message, and let's say okay, a new device requested to be authorized. A new device requested to, let's say, log in, because that's like the high level API, you know. A new device requested to log in. Device ID equal to that. And then like accept or reject. And the %s will be, let's find a 33. Device ID hex. Device ID hex. And that's going to be the request dot device ID new dot voids, and that's going to be the device ID hex, and we're going to be printing that message, or we're going to send that message, and the event is going to be faith. Penguin operator, you're back. Nice. Let's say faith envelope device link request. Faith event, I'm sorry. So that's a new device requested to log in, accept or reject, accept or deny, right? So, and let's say request expires at public key new device, auth ID, code. Okay, let's first print only that, and yeah. Okay, let's try should we actually try out what that machinery does? Bro, we're already over 2,000 lines of code in the server, by the way, and in the client, we're already also already over 2,000 lines when you count shared, I guess. Right. Okay, so let's see. Math, we don't need that. And let's say client test suite. If we have a, let's say, else if, I know that should be definitely a switch statement, but I don't have the motivation. Faith event device link request. I guess, yeah. Do I have a way to say faith event name? Nice, okay. So let's say printf got event %s, and then let's say, yeah, let's say printf got event %s, and then we will say faith event name of the event type, and if we have a message, we will print ev.message essentially. So ev.message, and then let's say message is that, and else we will just say printf \n. Like that. So let's compile. What the fuck? Why do I have that link here? So 831. That kind of does make sense. So Yeah. Okay, let's just try that. So just normally connecting should still work, and it obviously doesn't. Right. SSL read failed with success. Amazing. Okay. So let's see what the server did. Faith error unauthorized. Server handle hello. Probably because we're still checking CL authorized everywhere. In hello and shit. That doesn't make sense at all. So is it because of that? So unauthorized, handle envelope, routing, unregister, not found. That makes sense. Okay, so let's see. I actually love my logging system. I'm very proud of it. Just saying. Nice, still the same. Okay, but nice. Okay, we got further. And actually, it's just a client error, it seems like. It's just a client error. So we received an invalid response to challenge response. Okay, so what kind of response did we receive? So I think we receive, it's crazy. Receive an invalid thing. Let's say, what even is device authorization? Basically, in WhatsApp or any other instant messenger, when you want an account and want multiple devices on it, you want to have a safe way to connect multiple devices to your account. You know what I mean? We're calling that, yeah. We're calling that invalid thing to challenge response, right? So let's say expected. I think like the expected thing. Let's say got. Let's just say got. So got and then faith envelope name. Let's put that here. Faith envelope name of envelope dot type. Makes sense. Yeah, makes sense, right? Okay, so let's get the client and let's see what we actually got. So let's see. Test suite. Got envelope challenge. Handle challenge. So we're decoding the envelope of the frame that we just handled. So we need to receive a new frame. So let's say that we don't want that. Let's say we want to free the frame. Yeah, so we're done with that frame, but now we need a new one. So we literally need a new one. So let's say let's say we're done in here, need a new one. Does that mem set it to 0? Oh my god. I always thought of that. I'm so grateful that I actually look at my code, not like all these vibe coders. Okay. We are reading a new frame and decoding of the new frame. So that should now work. That should now work. Okay, so because we're literally lagging behind one frame. Okay, we kind of need a return defer thing now, right? So yeah. So let's have one. So faith status code T. Let's have it already. Let's have it at the top. So is it like fr result? I think it's fh result. And let's say the result is faith okay. And here we can just, why is that even a thing? Let's just fc check return then. I mean, Same in here. F check return, that doesn't make sense. And yeah, so from here on out, okay, yeah, we cannot really easily do that. But here we can do it, right? So let's have something like a defer, and defer will just faith frame 3, and here we return faith, we return actually result, and we will fh result, and the same in here, and we want to free the frame, which I think cannot error, no. Faith frame 3, roll defer. So can I go to my thing again? Here, thank you. Okay, so let's say okay in here just to, yeah. Right, and then we want to say, let's say fr return, let's have a macro for that. So fh check return, let's just say check go to, check defer. So let's say something like fh just defer, and let return defer, and just with a RC. And this will invoke something like simply like something like FHRC is equal to RC, and then go to defer do while 0. Okay. Use of undeclared identifier FHRC. Okay, so it's actually FH result. So return defer, and then we don't need that anymore. And let's say return defer faith. Okay. Faith okay. And the same in here. So fc check defer. And here we do fc check return. And that simplifies to only that, which is great. And here we can do defer. So that simplifies to only that. Same for here, that's great. We don't need that scope anymore. Let's say read next frame. by the way, so after here we are reading the next frame already. Yeah. Cool. So by the way, let's say fh return defer with faith error invalid in this case. Okay, nice. Cleaned it up. Cleaned it up. Great. So what happened? Client changed state to waiting for acknowledgement. Sent server got envelope hello. Queued frame. Server sent envelope. Widać ciebie. Sorry for that, guys. My parents are mad about me streaming. So server sent envelope, the challenge. Let me get back into that. So we send the challenge to the client, and okay, and we get a new envelope, which is a response. Okay. We queued a new envelope, which is hello, okay. And we accepted the client. We registered the session and we passed authorization. Okay, makes sense. Sasha, welcome. Welcome to the stream. This makes sense. But now, what happens? So this is the entire thing. What happens if we by the way, let's actually remove this got event thing, right? And this reading frame thing. So reading frame. And for the got event, let's say else, and then like if ev.type equal faith event pong, we just say something like continue, I guess. Yeah. And then we'll say that and that and that. And okay, right. Makes sense. Now that we have that, let's have a spoofed client. Let's have a spoofed client. So let's, bro, one more and I'm going to ban you. You're going to okay. Let's actually say device ID. And yeah, so let's spoof our let's okay, sorry, no. Yeah, thank you for stopping. Let's actually spoof our thing. So let's have a way of converting hex IDs into the actual bytes by copying that. And then we can say something like client ID from hex. And we can basically provide a spoofed ID that we somehow got, right? So for this client, okay, so we registered this session, so we know it. So an attacker could just take that ID and what do we need out? So, okay, let's say this is just our auth ID dot bytes. So what does this take? I think it takes just the straight ID. So let's say like that. Does it do that? Yeah, faith client ID. So let's have this and client ID from X. Okay, so basically we are having a spoofed client and we are trying to log in to it with a new device. So what will happen? Let's actually fucking see. Device authorization pending, waiting for an already registered device to respond. Connected, failed. Pay to reach server. Okay. Auth pending. Yeah, okay, so that makes sense, right? So that's what we want. But I didn't receive any message on my other thing. And also, why does it automatically reject the client? Let's see. Does it does it have any errors in the log? Yeah. Client is not acknowledged yet, rejecting frame. I see. I see. So pinging, so we kind of cannot do that. Right? Kind of cannot do that. Like we should be right. So okay, so let's say client not acknowledged yet. Okay, if the state, if the thing is challenge response, or so it's not open yet, and we are getting hello or challenge response, then we just literally close the client, right? All right, so and it is apparently challenge response. I mean, yeah, it's like responding to the challenge, right? So so it's still waiting for the hello acknowledgement. I think we might even acknowledge the hello. We might still acknowledge the hello, but not register the client. Is that a good thing? Or should we do it by just setting the state differently? I think let's just have a state like wait for device link egg, and then let's send a, what IDE do I use? I use Neovim. Yeah. So send like what the fuck did I call that? Send device auth pending. And then we want to set client state of S of CL to Neovim. Yes, Neovim. I said it, right? To client wait for device link acknowledgement and client open. So let's see, route message, we don't, yeah, so yeah, right. Handle envelope, in here it's like a thing, right? So challenge response, okay, so we only say if CL state does not equal to client wait for device link acknowledgement, only then. This is amazingly bad. So let's say int um, is handshake envelope. So if it's either equal to hello or challenge response, it's part of the handshake. So let's say if the state is not okay. So let's say, by the way, int is handshake state. So basically that and then we say is handshake state. So if we are in a handshake, so if we are not in a handshake state, or let's just say if is handshake state does not equal to is handshake envelope, is that a thing we can do. So if we are in a handshake state, then we have either this or this state, and so yeah, if they don't match, essentially, right? If they don't match, but that doesn't make sense. So what did we have before again? Yeah, we kind of need to say if we are in a handshake state and it's a handshake envelope and it's not a handshake envelope. That's what I want to say, yeah. But if we are not in a handshake state, right? So if we're not in a handshake state, we just don't care. Okay. What programming languages do you know? A lot. Like Rust and all of them, basically. Why you not use AI? Why you not write correct English? Did the AI make you dumb? Sorry, bro. Okay. Let's try that. I think we can't even have a not equal to. No, but that's correct, right? Okay. So seems to work. So this is the spoofed client. So let's actually use it again. So let's say faithly. It worked. So what do you have? Challenge response. Yeah, nice. Let's fucking go, man. And it is not connected, but why don't we get the fucking event, right? So auth pending, send envelope auth pending. So why don't we receive it? Why don't we receive it? So as you can see, the other client that is trying to join on the same account but with a different randomly generated device is not connecting because we are waiting for the device link acknowledgement. So that's amazing. But there is a problem. We are still in connecting. So let's say connecting. So we're still in. So where do we even get? So where do we even get to? Let's actually enable logging. So logging log. What's the name of that thing? Is there another thing? Ah, here, true. Okay. So let's enable logging and let's see, let's remove that client and knob. Do that. Okay, so we are waiting. Heartbeat successful. Send ping. Got hello response. Server acknowledged client successfully. Okay, cool. So let's have another client. Waiting for server challenge response. Ew. We're waiting for the challenge response. So we're literally waiting for the challenge response. Amazing. Okay. So let's see. Frame incomplete. I think that's not really important. Server got envelope challenge response. Server sent over frame too large. No way. No way. So we're hitting frame too large the first time. This is like fucking amazing. This is like a, how do you say it, a milestone. We're hitting frame too large. I'm very proud of that, by the way. So yeah, very proud of that. Right. So let's see. By the way, server sent envelope. So let's see. Server sent envelope. Right. This doesn't make sense at all. We definitely need to rewrite that with defer, by the way. Okay, so the frame is in fact too large. So body size and like, what is the frame size? So where do we, so frame too large. So let's say something like, um, okay, so let's say no block error. Failed to send failed try parse. Let's see, server sent envelope. Encode envelope, server sent over wire. Okay, so that's okay. That's correct, yeah. Right. So I would like to know the size. So let's actually say failed to parse frame from buffer. Frame is too large. Say something like frame is too large. Max frame size is equal to, and then like something like percent, I think, let's say just I, and then like in 32t faith max frame len. Let's say max frame len. Frame is too large. And then let's say frame size is equal to percent I, and then in 32t. And by the way, casting to in 32 is very important because it's actually undefined behavior to print stuff with percent I if it's not actually the type. So yeah, frame size. And let's actually, okay, so that's here. Do we have something like frame too large anywhere else? No. So let's actually have it. So we have a bunch of frame too larges here. Ew. are we maybe able to actually have, maybe I have my variable naming so standardized that it's actually going to work everywhere. So error Brodsky Max framelan frame size t. Oh god, man, this gives me goosebumps because this reminds me that I have to truncate the size and shit. So how old are you, King? I'm 18, man. By the way, how's the camera? Oh my fucking god, bro. Bro, I hate this camera. Why can't people tell me? Can you not just tell me if there's literally a black screen in my camera? Like, okay. Right. Oh fuck! It's the failed to pass. It's not even pausing in here. So failed to read frame. Right. And let's say failed to encode frame to buffer. Okay. Faith error frame too large. Bro, do I actually have to copy it? Why is there so many places where this gets returned? That's insane. Thought you processed your thoughts better in the dark, so I did not say anything. Yeah, yeah, it's actually not intentional. So, yeah, big surprise, right? Okay, I think, oh my God, why is there so many places, man? You have to be kidding me. What is that? This is also this reading. Okay, so fair to wait. Why is it correct? No, because I was here. Okay, fair to read frame. Frame is too large, and then we have out payload size and that. Okay, finally, man. Okay, so I can actually maybe now see how large the frame actually was. Okay. Okay. To cześć. Nie. Chodź, idź. Przecież mamo, wszystkie. Sorry, my mom just yeah. The oh. Oh my god. What's even the date? Like I'm in my coding cave since like 4 hours, I think. I was like in the tunnel for 4 hours now. So but we'll continue. Just a bit. Just a bit. They can wait. Okay, so frame to large. So let's actually, do we need to, yeah, we need to recompile the server. So, yeah. Frame theme, and then let's go into, I already recompiled. So let's have that, and let's have that, and it works. It's nothing is too big, right? Except your PP. Okay. Let's 50. So frame too large. Oh my god. Look. We're so cool. We're actually hitting our own barrier. That's amazing. That feels amazing. Okay, so now that we actually know why we are hitting it, let's just increase it. So 128. Faith max frame ban. Thank you. Let's increase it to 256 for now. Because I want to hit it again. Right, so it's like a game. Okay, so we need to recompile the server for that. Faith D, test suite seems to be correct. And Faith D, test suite. Okay, so we accepted the hello. Client passed authorization. From client 2, we got a challenge response from client 2. Server sent envelope link request to client 1. That makes sense. And server sent envelope auth pending to client 2. Client change state to client wait for device link acknowledgement. So we sent the envelope, right? So why are we still waiting for the envelope? Waiting for server challenge response. Okay. I see. We may be actually. So where are we handing the next frame here? So let's say waiting for server, but we're literally not getting a challenge response. What? Because it would print if we were be getting one. Wait, can it be the case that handle challenge okay. So handle challenge. We're literally waiting on that. We're literally waiting on that, man. Nasty. Nasty. So I have no idea why the heck we're waiting on that. Yeah. Do we even get a challenge from the server? Okay, so send envelope challenge. We literally get a challenge, bro. Oh my fucking god, dude. Faith envelope hello. Server got. So we got hello. And where's our other client? So Okay, we received the hello at very fast. And then we literally sent faith envelope challenge with a body size of 8 to the client. And wait, we got a challenge response from the client. Okay, we got a challenge response from the second client. And we sent a device link request to the first one, which is correct. Then we queue. Then we sent an envelope, device auth pending. Okay. Success handling client. So it does make sense, dude. It does make sense. So we even got the challenge response. That can't be real, bro. Wait, can it just be the case that I'm already connected, but I don't print it? So sending challenge response literally happens in handle challenge. So handle challenge, so it has to already have worked, because otherwise we wouldn't get a response from the second client if I'm not fully mentally retarded. So we are pushing device auth pending. And why are we not printing that event, by the way? So it's actually no block. Yeah, let's actually no block info that. So no block info. Bro. Ah, I see. Oh my god, wait. I see now. Oh my god. Do I see now? Ah, I don't see. Bah. What window manager do I use? I use my own one. Ragnar WM. So https github.com. Oh. So do we get sent a challenge? I think we just don't get sent a challenge, right? So can I, by the way, can I somehow fucking copy all those logs, put them into a file, and have something like env logs. Put them here and say challenge. Server sent envelope challenge. So what about, so faith envelope, so let's say envelope challenge. Envelope, go. Envelope challenge. Yeah, we're sending the fucking challenge, man. So why is our client not responding to that? Man. Oh wait, so we have fd is equal to 6. Okay, the fd is also correct. Fuck. I think it's in here. Yeah. Hero. Okay, because we don't handle the envelope. Oh, I see, I see. Okay, so we get sent challenge, but we never get sent another frame after that, apparently. But I think we even get what the fuck. We sent an hello to that client. Okay, no, that client. We sent a challenge, we get the challenge, everything's okay. Then we get an envelope of, no, wait, what? So we got a challenge response. All right, so we got a challenge response from the client. Then we sent an envelope link request to 1. We queued a frame to 2. We sent device auth pending with a body size of 0, by the way. to 2, and that's it. So we send some shit to 2. So yeah. Maybe the frame we sent was invalid or some shit. Handle newly joined device. Right. Do we do any shit that we forget to do? CL authorize is equal to 1, except hello. Routing register session. So accept hello is the main thing, right? What if we just accept hello instead of doing this thing? I mean, this would make the client be in a weird state, but here's my server. Still not bro. Still not getting a new frame. What if we change this? What if we literally do this? Okay. So maybe Oh my god. I think it might be the case that we literally don't flush clients that are not open. Bro, do we want to just do that and then do flush and say or C state equal to client wait for device link acknowledgement. We will remove all of those, and then by the way, while we're at it, let's say invalid received invalid server envelope, let's say case faith envelope device link requested. Let's say device authorization requested. Decode, didn't we decode that shit? Decode link request. Where did we decode that? Handle envelope. So what's here? Got hello, okay. Link request. What? Czekaj. Ja będę przyjść, jak jestem koniec. To przyszki ty widzą. Okay, I'm pressured, but that's... Yeah, let's just ignore that because I need to really finish that. I know stuff, you should do stuff with your family probably, but I need to finish that. Yeah, my mom just comes in and does shit. So I can't really do anything about it. Yeah. It's just how it is, right? Device. Right, so I think, yeah, so let's actually look at, don't I have any client logs? So I think received invalid, invalid. Isn't there like a client handle envelope? Bro, didn't I literally message send device link request? Okay, I think we handle the other, we don't handle the other case. So let's say K would be just break on default, so yeah. Invalid. Okay, anyways, let's quickly try if that even works. So do we just want to yeah. So do we literally want to set it to open? Set client state. I think we literally want, I mean, it's just a state. It's still not authorized. So I think that's the best way to handle all of that. So let's have that, and let's have that, and let's fucking finally make it work. Okay, so the reader. So did the reader got sent invalid message envelope? So let's handle that. So okay. So got sent invalid message envelope. What? Client, so here. If it's okay, so the recipient ID is not equal to the auth ID. Probably of device link request or of. So that's actually not a good thing. Let's actually put it into the respective things. So device link request. Let's do that, and then in message send the same. And okay, so let's remove that client, rebuild, and have build test suite, build test suite. So we got sent an invalid message envelope. Do we not set the recipient ID of the fucking thing? So let's see. Send send link request. We set the recipient ID of the shit. Do we? Yeah, we do. Fuck you, man. Okay, so then let's say we just ignore it because I don't know. Yeah. So like that. And let's say we want to rebuild, do that, and do that, and do that. Terminated by SIG abort. Double free or corruption. Oh my god, I think I need to stop. But we got so fucking far. Okay, let's see. Link request. Let's say printf a new device wants to register. Let's just say that. And then let's just say return faith. Yeah. Or fucking break. And then let's easily, quickly remove one of them. Have a little bit of a not. Have a little bit of that, and of that, and of test suite. And have another test suite. Okay, I'm done for today. We implemented a bunch of things. Bro, this was the longest session I ever did. I think that's a win. That's definitely a win. Yeah, so the thing needs cleanup, and also we will need to fix that issue of like the link request double free. But yeah, I think that's it for today. thank you for everyone who's yeah been watching the stream, and yeah, thank you.